If the wind had been blowing differently that night in Brooklyn, there might not be an America at all today. In the summer of 1776, the British nearly won the Revolutionary War, a full 7 years before they finally resigned it in the Treaty of Paris. With a large army of about 32,000 soldiers, they landed on Staten Island and forced General George Washington to move over half of his army to Brooklyn to defend it. On August 27, 1776, the British attacked Brooklyn on 3 fronts. The battle was a huge defeat for the Americans, with 300 dead, 1,000 captured, and maybe most importantly, the army was left divided in half. Much of the army was trapped in Brooklyn, while the rest of the force was in what is now Manhattan. With the American army outnumbered and caught off guard, only a series of fortuitous events saved the Continental Army from a complete rout. First, a small group of 400 Maryland soldiers were able to fight and hold the British off long enough for a larger group of Americans to retreat to Brooklyn Heights. Second, British General William Howe ordered his men to stop the attack and dig trenches around the Continental Army, expecting them to surrender. He also expected British ships to sail around and cut off the Americans from their only line of retreat across the river to Manhattan. The British fleet was unable to sail up the East River to cut Washington off, however. As luck would have it, the wind prevented the British ships from sailing up the river for several days. Finally, a heavy fog settled over Brooklyn. Mind you, not mainland New York, just Brooklyn. This fog concealed the Americans' movements from the British and allowed them to escape across the East River. Without these fortuitous events, the American Revolution may have ended very differently. What if the wind had been blowing in the other direction? On this channel we will examine the what-ifs of history, how a battle here, a failed assassination attempt, or even wind from a different direction could have completely changed what we know as history. We hope you'll subscribe to the channel to join us for thought-provoking discussions on what if.